Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next Pixel Replay podcast. My name is Mike, and I am joined here with Zerowave321. How you
Yep.
doing, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm just here, talking about games today. What game we going to start with then?
Yeah, well, it's been a slow week, so
Yeah, it has been a really slow week.
we've been struggling to find things to talk about.
Yeah.
And I guess let's start with a small indie but goodie. Let's go with Lawbreakers.
Oh yeah. Lawbreakers.
And and
Insane.
apparently people are comparing this to Overwatch.
Yeah, no, people are comparing loads of games to Overwatch these days. I swear down, like I've seen it non-stop recently. They compare like the first like when Paladins came out, they compared that to flipping Overwatch. I understand with that one, because most of the characters have around about the same kind of abilities, and like a lot of the characters look kind of similar as well. Um, but the thing is, when it comes to games like Lawbreakers, they compare it like any hero-based shooter. Even though these aren't even heroes, these are lawbreakers. Okay, so they're not heroes; they're villains, more or less. Anyway, they call it the hero shooter genre, and I don't get it. I don't get why every game's compared to Overwatch these days. It's terrible.
Well,
It's
it's not, unfortunately or fortunately, it's not really anything new. You think about back in the old school days, any shooter, any first person shooter was called the Doom clone.
oh wow,
And
I didn't know
and
that.
then yeah, so and there was some truth because, limited technology and stuff, but Quake or not Quake, I'm sorry, Duke
Hmm.
Nukem and um trying to think Redneck Rampage and all these other games. And if it was first person, it was considered a Doom clone.
Yeah,
And
I don't get it. I don't get how they think that every single type of that game is a clone though, because a hero shooter, there've been multiple of those like in the past, right? Team Fortress 2, that wasn't counted as a hero shooter. That was just counted as what was it counted as actually? It was like a payload, like you can move payloads. There were loads of different game modes with it, so it
it's
wasn't really
a just a team-based
FPS thing.
objective
Yeah, yeah.
shooter. Yeah, I mean,
I,
there was Team Fortress 2. There was. Do you remember the Shadowrun
I do.
game?
I do not remember Shadowrun. I swear
So
down. Recently, I haven't remembered any games. Like he's been saying like random games that I just don't know, and that I
so
know they're so obvious to know as well.
so Microsoft owns the rights to Shadowrun, and they announced that there was going to be a Shadowrun game for the 360. This was last gen,
Mm.
and everybody was disappointed when they announced that it was team-based, class-based, a class-based arena shooter. It was very similar to something like Counter-Strike,
Oh,
but with different. Whereas Counter-Strike, you're pretty much all the same human.
yeah, yeah.
With Shadowrun, you can be like a dwarf or an elf or an ogre, and
Ah,
like the ogre, for example, had uh, better health and better defense, but was slower. And
mm.
the dwarf can drain. Like there was magic, there was like a tech tree or tech abilities.
Yeah,
But just like Counter Strike in the beginning, you could you would hold up like a weapon wheel and you'd purchase things from money that you earned the round before. But yeah, no, there's been plenty of class based or character based shooters before
yeah.
Overwatch.
I mean,
But I think Overwatch is the first one that really broke big, like
yeah.
mainstream big.
I mean, the thing is, they compared it to TF2 like loads, though, didn't they? When Overwatch was first released, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's literally, what I don't get is there's an argument between TF2 and Overwatch, right? Oh, which one's the better one? Right? Okay, it's pretty clear, right? TF2 because it's free, the content's good. They've got like a load. Like, I mean, obviously they don't add more characters with it. They add a lot of maps, a lot of little different game modes. It's already got tons of content versus something that's was basically new at the time.
They also have
Um,
hats.
yeah, and yeah, they also have hats and sandwiches, which is the big thing. But yeah, no, yeah, I didn't get the whole like arguments that like I don't get all the arguments between like different groups. Why can't a game just be made and it be a normal game and not just be a clone of something. It's terrible. And like the thing is, Lawbreakers, it is a genuinely good game. Like it is. I think personally, there's a lot of free running in it. It's all to do with it's very fast paced. I don't know what the exact objective is. I know there's like a ball floating in midair or something, and you're meant to take it to somewhere. I don't know, something like that, right? But the gameplay itself, the characters, the design, it looks like a really nice game. It's probably had a lot of thought put into it, and they were probably making it at the time when Overwatch was big, and they were like, everybody's going to call this an Overwatch clone. Because the thing is, Battleborn was called an Overwatch clone. I played that. That is nothing like Overwatch, nowhere near. And to be honest, now it's a lot worse than Overwatch. It used to be probably better at the time or something, but
Was
it got
Battleborn was that the Gearbox?
yeah. It
Okay.
died. It died immediately.
Yeah, it
And the thing
died a
is,
fiery death.
they tried to revive it. That's the sad thing. And I was watching as they were trying to revive it. They tried. They've literally made half of the game free.
Yeah, the multiplayer.
Yeah, they've literally made half the game free. They've added. Okay, so they've made it so there's a free so-called trial where you get the full game for free, basically. But all you get to play is the multiplayer. You can't play the story. And the story isn't really the main thing that's grabbing people, is it? It's the multiplayer it's
It's
meant to
always
grab
yeah,
people.
it's always the multiplayer.
That's with a lot of games these days, though, because like a lot of games don't really that you can't find many offline games these days. Like all of them are really
And I think the crazy thing that people may or may not realize when they call these games clones is it takes years to make a game.
yeah
You know,
yeah
it if two games or three games or I guess four games that we're talking about in this game, when it comes to Team Fortress and all that.
hmm.
But for by the time Overwatch came out, Lawbreakers was already in development.
Yeah
By the time Overwatch was in development or came out, um, the other games were. I'm
yeah
trying to
yeah
think.
they were in development.
Battleborn was also already in development.
Hmm.
So it's
It's
development.
it's an
It's not
endless
something that you can
cycle.
just copy and paste or see and just throw
Yeah.
into your game haphazardly.
Yeah,
Um,
you spend ages coding that stuff, and when some like it's probably really disheartening for the people that like actually spent ages trying to make that character. And this was before any of these other characters were ever announced or even seen before, and then they still get called clones or something. And they're probably really sad about it and things. And the thing is, I've heard stories that Paladins was in development at a certain time that it couldn't have copied Overwatch, which is sad and weird. But like a lot of the characters, I mean a lot of them, are so similar they could literally have been. I mean, it's not like it's. I swear down, it's not like the Japanese flipping rip-offs. If you know what I mean, like where
yeah.
they literally just change the colors of certain things, and they're like, yeah, it's a different game. No, no, it isn't. They literally ported it to mobile, by the way. Um, they literally ported Overwatch in full, all the maps, all the characters, changed the colors a bit, and then ported it to a phone or something. And it was terrible. Some terrible stuff right there. And yeah, so anyway, yeah, back to Lawbreakers. Um, the price is $30, which is surprisingly good. They
Yeah,
they
that's really fair.
for these like these days like everything has to like anything on console especially it is definitely always going to be £49.99 or something like that. For you guys, it's probably more because I'm saying in pounds and you have dollars. But it's really expensive. It's like half £100 over it. But that's usually what a game's worth half the time. And it's really sad because you buy that game like later on when it gets cheaper, and then you realize why would anybody pay that much money for this game? Because
Yeah, a
I
lot
know
of times.
with No Man's Sky as well. You know how they
Uh,
you know how they basically made everybody pay a load of money. They've tried to redeem themselves by having a massive content update, which everybody knew was coming, right? But the thing is, they've made the price go down for that content update. What am I saying? Update, right? And it's I think it was wasn't it $20 or something now for
for
like
the
the full
game or the
game,
update?
just for the
Oh, I don't
game in
know.
general. Like even with
I
like
would,
the update was free because they have to. If they didn't make
yeah.
that update free, that everybody would be really annoyed. Um, but yeah, I don't get it. What happened to the people that spent full price? What do they get? They get like
Uh,
I don't know.
lesson learned.
Yeah,
I
they
I
get
was
a
one of those
lesson.
people. I bought it day one first price or full
Oh,
price,
that's
and
not good.
I mean, I got about 40, 30, 35, 40 hours out of it. I got my money's worth, but I can't say that it was worth the $60.
A lot of people say
You
they
know,
only got like 5 hours of gameplay that they actually enjoyed out of it,
yeah.
and
I mean, the repetition. I
yeah,
was very stubborn, and I was looking for obviously something that wasn't there,
yeah,
and I mean, but lesson learned. Between No Man's Sky and Destiny,
mm,
I have learned my lesson or have moved away from buying games full price day one. I have
yeah.
such a backlog between all the systems I own that I don't need to get games day one. And anything and
Pre-ordering is always a bad idea with any game, even if it turns out to be a really good game. Pre-ordering, I know you get that little bonus, but is it really worth a gamble on like
I
a
hate that
game?
little bonus.
Yeah, it's
I absolutely hate what that promotes or that's even pushed because that you have stuff that I mean look at what happened with Evolved where
yeah,
you were able to evolve your pre-order bonus. Now that it's one thing
uh,
if you're going to get a skin or something stupid like that. I think Gears of War 3 or something last gen had it where if you pre-order from GameStop or Game or whatever retailer, you got like a golden skin for your gun. I don't care about that. Anything
yeah.
innocent like a skin that but if you're going to be holding out actual chunks of content,
Hmm.
nah, that's where it goes too
It's
far.
messed up. Like, I understand like statues for collectors and stuff. That's different. That's a collector's edition. Like, but pre-order bonuses, they're usually just stuff in game that aren't really worth it or whatever. The thing is, everybody always thinks, oh, if people see me with this in game or something, they'll think I'm really good at the game. No, no, nobody cares. Because if they see you with like, let's say what's a game? Okay, let's say Titanfall or something, because I've been playing that recently. Like, let's say somebody gets a golden Titan for pre-ordering or something. They get a golden Titan on the field. Okay, so if you're another person and you see that golden Titan, what are you gonna think? Somebody wasted their money. You're not gonna think, oh, that's amazing. I wish I had one. It's not like that with pre-order bonuses. I don't get it. I really don't. Um, I like how we've gone like so off the subject, but
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Um, to go back to Lawbreakers,
mm,
it 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 is a good price, but I still do have my concern with that. 30
yeah.
bucks is a great price. The fact that all DLC is going to be free, there's not going to be any paid DLC.
Mm,
That's another great thing. Um, but I'm still concerned because
yeah.
the beta numbers did not go well.
Yeah, yeah.
It seemed like it started off strong, but
It feels as if like everybody's promoting it, like, and it's kind of one of those marketing things where like it's like it was like the Dishonored 2 marketing. Was it the Dishonored 2? It was a game, I think it was Dishonored 2, but it was a game where they kept doing trailer after trailer, and the thing is the more trailers they put out, for smart people, it's kind of like okay, we can see what you're doing here. You're spamming us with trailers to kind of make us think, hey, this game's going to be good, or something like that. No, 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 no. It's never as good if you're actually having to spam trailers. It's never that good if you're having to spam trailers out there. That's what I usually
Yeah,
think with most games. Like if I see a million trailers for a game, I know I'm not getting that game because it's not that I'm rooting for the underdogs half the time in gaming, but at the same time, I do not want like people who have put so much money into marketing to feel as if
that
we're all
works.
idiots and that's just going to make us want the game more just because they put so much money into marketing. Like literally, so many YouTubers they get the game, they start doing videos on it, and then like everybody else like just like, oh yeah, that's a great game, I saw that, and it's like, okay, I understand that you've seen the game and you're like, okay, that's a great game, but don't try and force it. Don't try and force it into being a good game because you can tell when people's reactions are kind of forced to the game. They're like, "This is a great game," and then you never see them play it again. It's kind of that thing. Like after it comes out, you'll never see them play it again because they've been paid. It's
And the,
I see that a lot.
and the crazy thing is, if your game is good, it
Yeah,
usually sells really well through word of mouth.
yeah. Because
It's
everybody
not,
like, for instance, I'd say that certain games are really good to like my friends and things, and everybody around would be like, "Oh, okay, that's a decent game then." It doesn't like it's not like shoving it in your face saying buy this game. It's kind of like, okay, this person said this game's good. I'm gonna believe them and see what see what it's like. I'm gonna watch a video on it. I understand with the videos, like you can watch a video on it and be like, but don't try and like force your reaction to a game. It kind of you can see it happening though with a lot of games. I think Lawbreakers though is genuinely a good game. I mean, from what I've
yeah,
seen,
everything.
the maps are very limited, but that's meant to be seen because that's like it's a new game, and they haven't added much content yet because it's not even out yet. But what is it out? Is it out? No, it's not out yet, is it?
No, I don't believe it's out yet.
Yeah,
It's
it can't be out yet. But I mean, it's good. It looks pretty good. But yeah, and that like the price and the no pay DLC and the no pay to win, that was all taken from his Twitter. The person who made the game's Twitter.
talking
He
about Cliff Basinski.
yeah, something like that. I don't know what I don't know what his
Yeah,
name is. I just looked it up and stuff. But
he used to go by Cliffy B.
yeah.
He's the main guy that made Gears 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
Gears of War.
oh
Yeah, then
really?
he left. Yeah. And then he left Epic and went indie.
Oh, wow. I never really got into any of the Gears of War games. I don't know why.
They're they're good if you like cover-based shooters in
Yeah,
co-op.
something about the controls and like the different weapons, it just didn't appeal to me. It's not the same kind of style that I like personally, but that's just me. Like I don't really like the cover shooter kind of things. It kind of felt like a mixture of a third person shooter alongside XCOM at the same time because the cover and stuff was kind of like that. It kind of feels as if you snap to cover rather than
Yeah.
it's not. That's the only thing that annoys me about it. But that like honestly, I never played through the full story. I played the third one. I was planning on like testing out what's the name of it? I don't know what the name of it is, but it's the one after the third one. I don't know which one what one it's called, but
Oh,
um yeah, I was gonna play that as well
yeah.
just to see
I
if they were
can't
all the
think of
same.
it.
Was it? I don't know whether it was Judgment or not.
Judgment.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because yeah, I played a little bit of it. I didn't really care for it. It's a Judgment. It's a prequel,
Mm.
like a flashback type prequel
I
before
did,
the
I
first
did, I
game.
did look it up on Google. I was like, okay, so what does it start with? How does the series go? Does it go from like one, two, and then like because they don't usually use numbers. They use like other words in between. So you've got to kind of go through it in a really weird way, because otherwise you don't get the right thing and the right sense of
Yeah,
the story.
I think they used a subtitle for that because it was just an offshoot. It was Gears 1, 2, and 3, and then Judgment. And Judgment was just it was made by a different team. It was I don't want to say cash grab because
Was
it's a
it
quality game. I just
was it just a messy game? Was it one of those games that felt all over the place?
no, I wouldn't say it's messy. They just tried something different. It was
Uh
made by a different team. It was made by the same team that made shit. That made that they just remastered it with Duke Nukem recently.
Yeah.
I
I
can't think of
oh well. Well,
another
I'm sure.
subpar
I'm
game.
sure we could probably. It'll probably come to mind later or something.
I'll just
Um.
randomly blurt it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to move on from lesser known games that we can't remember the name of
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah.
They showed off or revealed more about their card system.
Oh yeah. No, the card system. Well, it's kind of. I don't know whether I'd call them cards or not. Like I want to call them cards because that's what the first thing that comes to mind. But like they're like hard drive things or whatever. Whenever you're like getting them out of a pack or whatever. But yeah, there's somebody's released gameplay. I think it's I don't know what the name is. I think it's Star Wars Central or something like that. They've released gameplay of
Battlefront
opening.
updates.
That's the one. That's the one. They released gameplay of the opening of like crates and things, and it's kind of gave us some insight to what the game's actually like. Because if you were to look at that part of the gameplay and not just the game itself, and you were to see those cards, I think that still tell you a lot about the game, in general. And these cards give you massive buffs in the game, like ridiculous buffs half the time. I mean, they might be different depending on what you pick, but like you start off with like obviously it's like is it epic, legendary, something like that. Like the levels of loot that you get, um, and the loot that you do get is kind of I don't want to say overpowered because it isn't that overpowered, but it gives you buffs in the game. It boosts certain things. It gives you percentage buffs, and percentage buffs are known for giving quite a lot of power in games, especially if they're like cards for specific things like lightsaber damage, something like that. Because usually in that game, I think I saw like it takes two swings to kill somebody with a lightsaber, something like that. But like if you had one of these cards, it'd probably only take one or something.
Which is the way
Um,
it should be.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's and I think it also affects cooldowns as well with the cards. I'm not sure.
I did see it
Yeah.
talk about offense and defense, probably
Ah.
cooldowns as well.
Yeah. So like if you're doing I don't know how broken it would be though, because you know how Darth Maul can do like the spin forward kind of thing. Imagine
Yeah,
doing that a million times in the air.
because of the cooldown.
Yeah. I don't know whether that could
They
be
they
broken or not.
they have to cap it off.
Yeah,
They just have to
they have
because
because the thing is they're not just upgrades the cards themselves. You can upgrade the upgrades. So you can like there's parts in the game that you can get from like opening the packs.
from crafting parts.
Yeah, and you can get the crafting parts and you can upgrade cards and that makes them stronger and it gives them more buffs and things with them. And actually they're pretty insane. And the thing is you don't just get these buffs for only heroes. You can get them for classes and stuff. And to be honest, personally, my favorite class is the officer because he has a turret, and I love my turrets. But that'd be pretty awesome to see. I mean, I understand when it like the buffs when it comes to normal, characters in the game, but when it comes to heroes, that could be really overpowered. And I also saw in the in the gameplay, a lot of gameplay that I saw of the game, I saw that if you stood still somewhere long enough as a hero, you'd regain health. I
Is that
s-
not normal with the series?
no, because with the first one, you never regained your health back in normal game mode, as when
How'd
you were
you?
playing as a hero. That is.
Oh, when you were playing as a hero.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
And I found that really strange, because that surely that would just mean that you go into a fight, do a lot of damage, hide, and then nobody gets to play as that character because it's already been played or whatever. When somebody's playing a character and then you can't pick that character because somebody else is playing it. That's
Yeah.
that's gonna be annoying. Because
Yeah, but if someone
imagine,
goes if someone's Darth Maul and they go and hide, that puts their team at a disadvantage
Yeah, true, true.
because you have this boosted
But the
character,
thing
you have
is,
this hero character that you're not utilizing, and on top of you not utilizing that hero character, you're one character short.
yeah, but the thing is, they could run in quickly, do a lot of damage, and when they're on low health, hide and then run in again,
Oh,
and that could get really annoying. That's like the
yeah.
thing that I'm kind of like, that can't happen. I feel as if I don't want to say that there should be a timed amount on that hero, but it would kind of make it more balanced. And the thing is, I know personally that I would enjoy to play a hero the entire round, but I don't think that's fair on everybody else. Especially somebody who's been waiting like the entire game just to play as a hero. When they finally get to that point, their hero's taken, and it's from a person that's just trying to survive and not really do much damage.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. That's going to be a very fine balancing act because
Yeah,
if I'm playing as a hero and I'm doing good and and I don't if they have health regeneration, then I don't see the big deal about me hiding to regenerate my health because that's what you do.
I wouldn't mind
That
it, but like there isn't any timer on you being a hero. You can be a hero for as long as you want, so you can basically hide for most of the round.
but the responsibility should be on the other team to hunt you down in those
Yeah, I guess
moments.
that's a fair
I mean,
point.
if that and that's no different than any other game that has regenerative health. If I'm facing you
Hmm.
in Battlefield
Yeah.
and we got this two-way shootout going, and I see you running, I'm going to assume your health is low, and I'm going to hunt you down.
Yeah, the thing
I'm going
is,
to try to
with
finish you off.
there's certain characters in Battlefield 1 as well that when you like the elite class characters and things, if you play as them, there are certain characters that it requires on a lot of team play, right? But your allies can heal you.
Yeah,
But I don't think a lot of the time that's really gonna work out. Because I mean, they
but
did
you're
it. I mean, they've done it with Battlefield 1, so I think they could probably do it with Battlefront 2. Um, I know they're probably quite different, but they are bringing the classes back, and that's something that Battlefield 1 has.
and Battlefield 1 also has those special classes, like the tank class with the
Yeah.
giant chain gun. Those classes also have regenerative health.
Hmm.
And it's not necessarily unbalanced because I don't know how it's going to go with the heroes
Yeah.
in Battlefront,
Actually,
but
thinking about it though, if there's a hero that's like trying to survive and be on like low health or wild things, surely a hero on the opposite team would be like, okay, I'm hunting down that hero in particular. Like I was thinking about, just the average person, like the average player trying
yeah.
to hunt him down. But like you could probably get a hero to hunt him down. And you could probably do it, and that's going to be a really easy way of killing them because they're so, greedy with like their health. That's probably going to be an amazing way to hunt them down.
And another way they can balance it is it takes a while for the regenerative health to kick in.
Hmm.
That
Maybe that's an upgrade, to be honest.
it wouldn't surprise me. I
Yeah,
mean,
it really
with
wouldn't.
all the buffs and stuff I'm seeing with the cards and stuff, it's a
Yeah.
possibility. I mean, at least the one thing that I'm seeing is that you can even earn in-game credits in a card or a hard drive or whatever the hell these are. So, I mean, the one guy in the video earns 2,000 credits in one card.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's what one of the packages costs. So, it, it, as long as they're generous enough with the credits, then I think it's going to be fine. I'm
I'm just,
hesitant to jump to
yeah.
the conclusion that this is pay to win,
I hope that there
but
aren't any, I just don't like those special credits. That special currency in every single game that they've ever done. Um,
yeah,
it's not great. I mean, the thing is, if they completely got rid of special credits and they made it so that you can just purely buy crates, you can't buy credits for those crates, that'd be good. That'd be interesting.
That looks like it might be what it is because
Yeah, it should be.
there's only the only thing I'm seeing is in-game currency and the crafting parts. I'm
Uh,
not seeing any other kind of currency depicted on the screen.
yeah, that's true.
So either you buy the currency or you buy the crates. Either way, as long as they give you the in-game credits as long as they're generous enough with it, then it should balance out. If they're
Yeah,
really stingy with it, you have to play for 30 hours for what someone else that pays $10 can just get. That I'd say is leaning on pay to win.
yeah. I don't like. I really don't like pay to win games, and I'm fairly sure like everybody doesn't like them. I mean, sometimes I understand with certain games, like, you got to pay a little bit, to get something. With like free to play games, obviously, they're a lot based around, pay to win and stuff like that because they don't make enough money from just the base game of it being free. Because how are you meant to make money on a game that's completely free? The only way that they can make money is through skins and through things like that. Actually talking about that, the CS:GO, and that you have to pay for that, and then you have to, also get skins as well, which is kind of strange. But I mean, a lot of people do it, so it must make people happy, I guess. Um,
Well,
maybe
yeah,
well, it isn't really pay to win though. You pay to just get skins, so it's not that bad.
it, it's the same thing in Rocket League.
Yeah.
You can pay to get little items and stuff to put it on your card, but if it's something that's just visual
Mm.
and nothing that affects the gameplay, I'm definitely much more of a fan of that.
They can't really do that with
With Battlefront.
Battlefront, no, because if they did it, it's going to be very annoying for people like us who are like, well, I don't really want to see a pink droid running around. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? It's on that level. I don't want to see that. I understand with the old game they did the different, they definitely did different skins, but they were from the actual game,
hmm
which makes it make more sense. But yeah, maybe should we talk about the next one? Or
Yeah, yeah. So talking
okay,
about prices and stuff,
yeah.
Arc they raised their price
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
from $30 or around there to full on $60 or 50. I think it's 50 on Steam.
Yeah.
And their statement on it is that the official statement is Ark Survival Evolved has increased its price on Steam to ensure retail parity for the upcoming launch.
They're basically doing it, and the thing is, this is 1 month before it's released as a full game,
Yeah,
and
this was on July 5th.
yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible idea. I don't know why they think that's good. The thing is, first of all, I don't know why they thought DLC for a game that's already in, it hasn't even been completed yet, is a good idea. Having DLC for a game like that, that
Well,
is, I mean, I understand, but
where they
it's,
fell apart, where they screwed up was it was paid DLC
yeah,
because
yeah,
they had DLC before,
yeah, but that was
but
normal.
it's all been free.
And that was all for
And
like one game and stuff. And the thing is, they could have just made another map, and they could have just said, "Yeah, here's another map. It's free," and it changes the entire game concept. But no, they have to make it out as DLC. Why didn't they do this when they released the game as a full game?
well, from what I understand, what they said at GDC, Scorched Earth actually helped them with the development of the main game. There was
Hmm.
good reasons for them to do it. Um, it's just the whole, and it was done. So the way they were looking at from their perspective, it was, you know, this was done. We can either hold on to it until the game is fully released, or we can give it to the fans now. And they thought it was a better idea to just give it to the fans now. They didn't really they knew there was going to be some kind of backlash, but they didn't anticipate the backlash they did receive.
Hmm.
Um, and oddly, because they have a scorecard system now.
Oh, right, really?
It's all detailed in their GDC panel that they did earlier this year. So basically, they have a scorecard system where, one block of it or whatever, one subject is, does the development team want it? Does the fans want it? Does it help with the development of the main game? Does How hard is it to implement? And there's like a fifth option, and then they do like a plus, a neutral, and a minus. And then so a plus is a number one, and a neutral, I guess, is a zero, and a minus is a negative one. And then they go down this card, and if the score at the end is a positive, then they go along with that decision. If it's a negative, then they generally don't.
I don't know whether that's a great idea or not. I mean, I guess it kind of is. It makes sense. It sounds
They
like it works.
Yeah, well, I think they did it during or after the release of Scorched Earth because they didn't want to make that kind of mistake again. But they amusingly they did say that they would still release it even if they knew the backlash they would get, because their player base, they had an uptick in players,
They
so
are. The
it
thing is,
actually helped them
they
in the
really
end.
are like splitting their player base, though, aren't they? They've done it
Well,
multiple times, and
not necessarily, because you can transfer between the two.
yeah. But the thing is, like, if somebody hasn't bought that DLC though, they're kind of like out of the loop of their friends and stuff. And the thing is, I understand. Okay, you've done one, that's okay, but like making multiple pieces of DLC that basically split everybody up, surely that can't be good.
Well, the other pieces of DLC were free though, so everybody has access to them.
Wait,
Well,
so
there
is
was
the
the center.
Ragnarok one free?
Yes,
Really? Wow, okay, I
center
didn't know that one.
center is free. Ragnarok is free, but Ragnarok isn't out yet.
Uh,
Um, it keeps on being delayed. And going back to the whole pricing thing, them raising the price was never going to be good. Like they were always going to receive backlash, but they should have raised the price when either on launch day or when the game went gold and they sent it off to Microsoft and Sony for certification, not a month before the game is set to come out, and especially not when the game is even done. There's been an update. I mean, the update situation with this game has been a mess
yeah,
lately.
like one every like other week or so.
Well, yeah, no, there's actually been like one a week, but there was supposed to be one almost 2 weeks ago on the PS4. That got delayed. So the last Xbox update contained two updates that were on the PC. The the PS4 version has been delayed so much that it's actually going to contain three updates, all in one update,
Oh wow,
that have been on the PC. And
that's
unfortunately, this Xbox update that came out actually broke the system. And a few days later, they had to release a hot fix that corrected some of the problems, but made the dinosaurs look pretty derpy in the face.
uh,
They looked like origami
oh
type
wow,
leathery dinosaur. Like it broke the game.
oh
And
flipping hell.
this follow up update is supposed to fix that. And I mean, I'll say this right now. Either the game is going to be delayed, which is pretty funny considering that they're their own publisher.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
They
It
don't have
can't.
to answer to anybody. So they made this release date for August 8th, and I'm not even entirely sure they're going to be able to reach this release date. If they do double down on this release date, there is going to be a monster day one patch. The game will not be done until day one, and I can even see them. I don't want to say this because Wildcard Studios, for all the flack they get and all the mistakes they made with early access, they've actually been one of the better early access developers in my opinion.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
they've been
they're
good.
very engaged with the community.
Hmm.
They're maybe not always great with the scheduling or keeping up with their timing, but they are very transparent with the community. They do tell them what they're planning on doing, and they do an okay job at communicating statuses and updates.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's what you want from a company. When you're buying a
yeah,
game, that's 100% what you want. You don't want somebody who just doesn't listen to their community.
yeah.
That's always terrible. I mean, a
But
lot of games have done that.
with all that said, they are. I can see them botching this launch. I can see if they double down on the launch, even with the day one update, I can see this game being broken in some ways because I play it now
Yeah, yeah.
and I own it on the Xbox. I own it on the PS4. I've put in easily over 100 hours in each. Um, and the I play the PS4 version now, and it is a laggy, buggy mess. I can still see it being a laggy, buggy mess at launch. Not as much it is now, but I don't see it being this
Yeah.
polished
It's not going to be
title at
polished, and that's
launch.
the thing. They're probably still going to release updates for it, even though they're
Oh, they
selling
have
it as,
to.
yeah, because the community is just going to die out if they do not release updates. You know, Reign of Kings, that started doing updates, and that immediately died as soon as they said that. Nobody really plays that anymore.
What
I
game?
stopped like Reign of Kings. It's like an RP kind of game. It's that's literally all it is. It's not very survival based. It's more, just about everybody RPing together and stuff.
Okay.
It's interesting. I tried it. I tried it once. Yeah, that was a sad time in my life. But that that was a thing that I used to do. But yeah, games like that. I don't know. I hope they still release updates for it. If they do, if they don't, they're going to lose their community instantly. And they have a
If
decent community.
yeah, no, they the community is pretty large. They've sold. I think this is covering all three consoles or all three systems, but
Hmm.
they've sold 9 million copies of Ark.
Oh wow.
So it's already a legitimate hit.
Yeah, but then that means
But
they've already basically made their money. Why do they need to boost the price again? But the thing is,
well, but
they've
that's
already
what's typical. That's not that's pretty typical when it comes to early access because that's more of a reward for the people that are buying this unfinished game. You buy our unfinished game for $30. That mean you get it early, but you get it buggy, and then whenever the full game comes out, you get this full finished game still for $30, while everyone else has to pay 60.
yeah, none of these games ever seem to be that polished though. Whenever they come out,
No,
multiple times they've just always they seem to be quite the letdown, to be honest. Um,
well, I mean,
there've been a lot of games like that.
if they can fix the lag, the server issues in Arc, then it would make the game so much more playable.
Yeah,
The server issues are more of a problem than the frame rate issues and the bugs. Um, I still love it. I mean, there's so many systems in play that it must be a nightmare to code for because there's so many simulations and so many systems that interact with each other.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's no wonder that these types of games are typically buggy. It's still not as bad as 7 Days to Die.
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
how it is now because they're on their 10th update or something,
Oh, I've played
but
it. Oh, it's still really bad.
I got 7 Days to Die when it first came out, and I actually have a gameplay video saved where I fell through the floor running away from a bear, and the bear ate my face off. And that I put the game down after that. We
Oh,
actually waited for the seventh day to come because you know how every 7 days the night comes and then
yeah.
the blood moon comes up. The blood moon came up. The horde never came. We
What
we
the really?
we reinforced this house with spiked traps and stupid clubs, and I mean we were so caveman like, but we did what we could to try to reinforce the area. Yeah, the zombies never came. Like literally,
Wow.
we just sat on the porch waiting for them to come.
I had like I literally could not play the game to save my life. Like it was incredibly hard to do anything.
Yeah,
I'd try to, you know, at least, convert a house into my own or something. That never goes well. I mean, could you actually build underground? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. That'd be pretty easy though if you could. Um, I know you can dig ditches, but then your tool runs out extremely quickly. The UI is impossible to see anything on. It's one of the more, you know, bad ports. It's not a good port to consoles. PC maybe it's better because like you can actually see the damn thing. Like you can't even see any of the text on console, and that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Why would you make a game where you can't even see the text? And it's really hard to like quickly craft something. If somebody's chasing after you, you cannot stand still for a second to quickly craft something. You have to literally, I don't know. You it takes hours just to move your cursor. It's not good. Um, but
no, no.
but yeah. So yeah, do you want to talk about the Xbox thing and stuff? Next one.
Yeah, yeah. So talk about things that are not good. Um, so Michael Pachter, who, and I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. He is a Wedbush securities analyst, and he does a lot of stuff with the video game industry.
Yeah.
Well, he says that the PS5 is going to be a half step. The actual quote is the PS4 Pro is better from a technical perspective than the PS4. So I think that's a half step towards the PS5. I think the PS5 will be another half step.
Oh,
So
so that's just going to be one full step basically. So he's just saying that it's going to be next gen. That's literally
yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
I could see some people taking issue with the claim of half step, but in context of the actual comment, I think it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, it makes sense.
a full step from the PS4 is what people should be expecting. People
Maybe
should not be
maybe the thing is maybe the PS4 Pro was like a let's say a quarter step. um and the other part was just the full step. The everything else
yeah.
is just
I mean, no, I mean that's how I think some people are taking it, but people should not be expecting a generational leap in performance over the PS4 Pro.
yeah, no,
The
because
P
the thing is that I don't know how everybody expects like mass performance straight after they've already released something.
Well, not only that, but they're bound by the laws of physics, because he continues on with his quote saying that my expectation that is not it's not coming out in 2018. He says it all the weird.
Yeah,
That is a 2019 or 2020, but probably 2019. Sony is probably timing it better because they're going to bring out a 4K capable device when the 4K market reaches 50% in the USA and 35% in the rest of the world. I don't agree with that one bit at all. Because one, they already have the PS4 Pro as a 4K capable device. Two, there there there's a very small chance that they're going to be able to produce a next gen console with a next gen leap in technology and performance in 2019 at a decent price.
yeah,
Um, the leaps in performance are bound by the laws of physics, and those are governed by the process strings, the process die strings. And we're not going to, and both Microsoft and Sony are waiting until 7 nanometer. The current PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, those are on 16 nanometer. The next step down that makes a difference is 7 nanometer, and that's not going to be coming out until 2019.
oh wow.
So
So they can't
for
really do that much.
for them to release it the same year that it comes out, plus there's no telling whether or not when it comes out, when the consumer version comes out in 2019, if they're going to be having manufacturing issues and stuff like that with the new die size. So my bet is 2020. And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
goes for both Microsoft and Sony because recently Jez Corden from Windows Central, and he has a very good track record.
Mm-hmm.
He's been right on a number of Xbox rumors. Um, he alluded to or hint or leaked about the Xbox One X specs being revealed soon, and then shortly after that, we saw the full reveal on Digital Foundry. He tweeted out saying that the next Xbox is already being designed. He says that it already has a code name. To not expect it for 2 years is too soon to him. So
Design,
again,
surely design would just mean coming up with a name, coming up with what it looks like, and then just designing the interior. Design is like a very loose word,
well,
because design
it's
could mean internally or externally.
design. Design. No, this is all internally, and
Oh, okay.
design is and this is typical. This is kind of a duh reveal or a leak
Yeah.
because and this has been going on for generations on that when Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo released the Wii, the PS3, and the 360, their internal hardware teams probably had like a month break, and then after that, they hit the ground running. And even if hardware is not going to be available for 8 years down the road, or 5 years down the road, 7 years, um, they're still doing research. They're still doing because you have to, and it must be a daunting task because you have to when you're designing when you first get into the what's the word I'm looking for when you first get into the shit of it, the thick of it,
Ah, yeah,
then then you're trying to predict where the market's going to be at least 3 years in the future.
yeah.
And you're trying to predict
Yeah.
what technologies are going to be used,
But
what
no, no.
what
The thing is, nobody can predict that. Nobody
no,
ever
no.
can predict
I
that.
mean,
'Cause something could come
and
out
we
like
actually
the next day. That's the level. It's not, or it could just take years or something.
yeah,
That's
and
just a prediction.
we actually saw that in the beginning of this generation where Microsoft predicted horribly wrong. They came
Yeah.
out of the gate with Xbox One X and it was TV, 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 TV. Here's a game system, TV, 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 TV. And
Mhm.
but TV is on the decline. We
Yeah.
have streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and HBO Now, excuse me, and they are on the rise. And cable subscriptions and TV subscriptions and services, they're they're not dying, but they're either on the decline or they're plateauing. So Microsoft banked on the Xbox One being this all-in-one, which is where the Xbox One name came from, all-in-one entertainment device where you can plug in your cable box and your Xbox will control it all, and it's going to be the gateway to your television. And that wasn't a selling feature at all. And they backed away from that. They've closed down their TV production company or whatever, and that's just a perfect example of where things went wrong.
Yeah.
But right now, both Microsoft and Sony are working on their next gen systems,
Yeah.
and
I mean, they can't. The thing is, they can't promise anything because clearly they're just predicting everything, which is not the best way to go about doing something. But
no, I I think next gen is going to be very much like
hmm,
what we're seeing with the Pro and the X. It's going to be more powerful video game systems. They're not going to try. I don't see them trying anything gimmicky like we
yeah,
saw with
yeah,
Kinect or like we saw with the Wii U with the tablet controller. I think they are going to be very very connected devices. But the only thing that I can see either one of them trying is releasing a diskless version
Yeah, yeah.
because of digital sales being so much on the
I
rise.
prefer digital sales because like, the thing is, if you have a Xbox or something, right? You put a disc in, like no, no, no. You want to like play a game, you have to put the disc in. You can't just to put the disc in once and then. The thing is, the stupid part about it is that before you could just put the disc in and immediately play the game. Now there's a download. It takes forever. It's so annoying to do. And then after you've downloaded it, every time you click on it, it says put in the disc, and it doesn't make really that much sense. I mean, I understand what they're going for, but don't
Well,
make
the
us
disc is
don't make us download the entire game though.
well, yeah, there's a lot of problems with that. The disc is the license because if they didn't make you put in the disc, then that means that you can take your buddy's disc and put it in your system and install it, and then you got a free game.
That
So
used to be
that
a thing
that's
with like the was it the downloads or something? Like you could if your friend signed into your account
yes.
and
Uh,
download
There's
some,
a
yeah,
there's a way to game share
yeah.
on both the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Which is
But yeah,
pretty good if they like if they didn't if they meant to do it and not just it was an
they
accident.
did. No, I don't think it was an accident, but I think it's only for digital items, and that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing. Now the whole why everything needs to be installed, it's because the disk drives in these systems, I mean, we're talking, so last gen we had games that ranged from, 10 to 15 gigs. This gen, we have games that run, 40 to 50 gigs easily, if not more. And then we went from systems that had 512 megs of memory to systems that have 8 gigs of memory, where developers have access to 5 gigs. So you need a piece of technology that's able to fill those 5 gigs of memory with data. The disk drives aren't fast enough. The Blu-ray drives and the Xbox and the PlayStation aren't fast enough. So that's why everything has to be, whether it's on disk or on digital, it has to be installed on your hard drive because your hard drive is 10 times faster than the Blu-ray drive. I mean, it
Oh, okay.
load times on some games can already take a minute and a half, and stuff like that. You play, I think, Prey was known to have absolutely horrible load times on consoles. If they were running that from a disc, we're talking, 3 to 5 minutes just to load a level. So unfortunately, that's just one of those areas where one piece of technology is advancing faster than the next. If we there's and It's always going to be like that going forward because you can't really you can put in a disk drive that's faster, but that's going to increase the heat, that's going to increase the noise,
I mean,
that's
this
going to
is
increase the sound,
isn't this on the
or I
same
mean the
level
price.
as the iPhone saying that they're not going to have a headphone jack or something? Isn't this on the exact same level as that? Like not having
No.
a disc, a drive. I mean, it's not as
Oh,
bad.
not having a disk drive.
Yeah.
No. No, because I can see people, I know plenty of people that buy digital only. And
Yeah, no, I do now,
eh,
basically.
eh, if they can save $50, which it wouldn't really cost
Plus,
or save.
a physical copy costs more. Well, not in
Really?
general, but it costs more to make
Yeah.
a physical copy, but it's cheaper to buy a physical copy than it is to buy a digital. That makes no sense. Like, surely you should literally just make everything digital. It just make
Well,
everything so much easier. And the thing is, if somebody comes around and robs your house, let's just say, right? They steal all your discs. What are you gonna do? You're screwed.
the problem with that is that the reason why there's still discs, and the reason to why this is a problem that Microsoft and Sony will have to figure out in the future, is you don't want to piss off retailers. These
Yeah.
companies don't need retailers to sell their games.
Yeah, but they could
Uh,
just couldn't they just get codes? Couldn't they just sell codes?
that's where I think the best, and like, yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
it
the
should go that
best
way.
compromise that they, instead of you buying an actual disc and you taking it home, you buy a card that you have a peel away and you get the code.
Yeah.
Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went that route, but it, at least here in my area, discs and games are sold, or they cost about the same.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, you can find them cheaper
Like
used
discs half the
physically.
time you find yeah, discs half the time you find cheaper. But I mean, that's what makes no sense though, because surely a digital copy would be cheaper. Like it's so much cheaper. It'd be free to make a digital copy. But like
Well,
making,
bandwidth isn't free,
yeah, that's true. You got a fair point. But
but they still, it's still more, it's more cost effective for digital. Plus, the manufacturer or publisher gets a bigger cut. So
yeah,
I don't know what the actual breakdown is with, you know, retail. But if, let's say, EA sells Battlefront, okay, on the Xbox Store or Steam, or, well, they wouldn't sell it on Steam, they sell it on Origin. But
yeah,
if they sell it on another store, I think the industry standard for Steam, Microsoft Store, PlayStation is that Microsoft, PlayStation, and Valve will take 30%. And
yeah, yeah.
then
That's
the
the point.
publisher will get the 70%. I
Mm,
don't believe publishers get 70% for each sale when you consider you have to pay a royalty fee to the manufacturer, you have to pay for manufacturing, you have to pay for distribution, you know, the store that holds on to it gets a cut, not a
yeah.
big cut, but they do get some kind of cut.
Mm.
Um, so I'd be really surprised if they got 70% of the money, of the earnings.
Yeah, I don't see, but the thing is, I really don't see anybody other than the companies themselves arguing, like consumers ourselves, like we don't argue about the whole whether there's a disc or not. We don't really mind, because we just play the games. We don't really care.
Hmm.
But the actual companies that make all of the stuff and things like that. Maybe they want to sell. Let's say they want a pre-order bonus, right? How are they going to do that? Like, I mean, not like a pre-order bonus as in like a in-game item. I mean, like as a physical item. You're going to have to sell those
Oh,
kind of collector's edition kind of things in the store.
yeah.
That's
Well,
gonna be
they
interesting.
can give those with the cards, with
Yeah,
the scratch
true.
off cards.
Like just like at the desk or something,
You
just
can get
brings out
they can
a
provide
model or something.
the steel case and just have a little card inside instead of a disc. Um,
Oh, that'd
but
be
yeah,
Irish.
so going back to the original topic, I don't see these systems coming out in 2019.
Yeah,
I'd be really, really surprised if Sony released a PS5 in 2019 that actually had a generational leap in performance. I think it's safe to say that we're looking at a 500, if not $600 console that,
yeah. I don't know. I don't get the whole like I don't know how much they could actually like boost everything by, because the thing is they've already made a console that can run at 4K and 60 FPS. That is up to the standards of a normal PC
well,
these days.
yes and no. Yes and no, because every any what type of game can it run at 4K 60 is what needs to be asked, because you can run 4K 60 on the Pro, you can run 4K 60 on the Xbox One X, but you're not going to be running everything at 4K. You're not going to be running
Yeah,
everything at
true.
60 frames, and you'll never. There will, I highly doubt anytime soon we'll hit a point in PCs and consoles to where you're going to be running 60 frames on everything. Developers have always
Yeah.
sided with 30 frames because they're able to make their games prettier to look at, and that makes them easier to sell. Um, but they can
They're
be,
never going to be like to the same standards as PC. PC's always
no,
been amazing. They're never going to be able to, top that really
no,
in
no.
any way.
They can get close, or they can have
Their only argument though is But don't you like the feel of a controller? That's their only argument when it comes to it. It's like, don't you like the feel of a controller? Well, I don't really
Well,
mind.
I see, and I don't even see that as a good argument
Yeah,
because
it's not. That's the thing.
I'm a huge PC gamer, and I mostly use a controller.
Yeah, and you can get a
I'll
controller
use
for
a
your PC.
I'll use a mouse and keyboard when I'm playing something like Battlegrounds,
Yeah.
Player Unknown Battlegrounds. But if I'm playing Tomb Raider or if I'm playing a fighting game or when I'm playing Forza Horizon 3, I'm using the controller. Um,
Any racing game does well with a
yeah,
controller. Like even Rocket League does better with a controller than with like
yeah, I
a
play
mouse and
Rocket League
keyboard.
with a controller.
Yeah, it's
Um,
so much more fun.
I I I would say the beggar better argument for a console is just ease of use. Like
Yeah, yeah.
PCs have gotten a lot easier, and consoles have kind of edged away
I
from
feel
the
as if
instant
it's
ease
for
of
the
use.
like consoles are for people that find PCs too confusing, and they're like, I want to play my game, and then they just get a console.
Well, not even just
It's
too
just
confusing, but
easier.
just don't want to bother. I know people, there are developers on my friends list,
Yeah.
and these people, they know PCs well. They develop video games,
Hmm.
and yet they don't, after spending, 10, 12 hours in front of a computer, they
Yeah.
don't want to come, they don't want to come home and spend their leisure time on the computer. So
Yeah,
they
that
play on the
makes
console.
sense.
I know other friends that they understand PCs just fine, but they don't care to play on them. One of the people that I work with, he's he's a computer technician
Hmm.
and he plays on the PlayStation and he doesn't
Wow.
have the money. Money is a big part of it,
Yeah, yeah, money is a really big part of
but
these. Because the
I
thing is,
mean,
when you get a console, you're like, I've got a budget. I want something that I know will run any game that I want.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm buying a console. 'Cause the thing is, consoles are like they might be dying out, but nobody has enough money
Mm,
to get like well no well people do, but like not as many people have enough money to buy an amazing computer that can run almost every
no,
game.
yeah. And that's the
Um,
thing, like I wouldn't even say consoles are dying out because they're selling better. Last I understood, even though the Xbox wasn't selling as good as the PS4, it's still selling faster than the 360. The PS4 is obviously selling like gangbusters. The Switch is selling out as
mm,
fast as they can make them. So I think consoles are good, and I think consoles are here to stay for the time being. But yeah,
yeah,
people just don't have money to buy PCs, and the amount that you have to spend on a PC to really overtake a something like an Xbox One X, you'd be spending $700 or something like that. Um,
yeah,
even though you have people like me that spent, or other people that spend 1,500 to 2,000 on a computer, the vast majority of the computers that are on the Steam survey, they're still running GPUs that are 2 years old, 3 years old. So, it
yeah. It really
the high end market in general, even on the PC, is relatively small.
yeah.
Um, so it'll be interesting to what they do next gen. I can see them focusing more on simulations next gen.
Yeah, I can't like I feel as if any console in the future will be like I think it will always come like they'll probably have like some form of VR like I think they'll have VR with every console in the future because like VR is becoming a thing where people are like I'll try it because it's fun, right? And like imagine if a company joins Xbox and then another company joins PlayStation and then they just start working together on like VR mixed in with their console. That would be interesting. That would be
Yeah,
interesting to see. I mean, I don't think I'd really care that much because I'm not really a big VR fan. I don't really care. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's like you're actually that." No, it isn't. You're sitting in a chair with some goggles over your head, pretending like you're in a forest, It's not as
I
fun.
can see the next generation of VR 2.0 hitting with next gen systems
Yeah.
and whatever PC technologies out then.
Or
Uh,
maybe even consoles will start to go into making VR themselves.
well, yeah,
Um,
so Sony's already there.
oh yeah.
So
That's a point. I forget like Sony's actually still doing stuff like that. They had those old motion controllers as well, didn't they?
yeah, that's one thing that they would have to upgrade because
Yeah, they would.
that's one of the biggest issues or complaints that I've seen with people is just they're retrofitting old technology into the VR
I'm
experience.
surprised they don't have gloves. You know, that'd be more realistic. People
Like
would
a power
actually feel
glove.
like they're doing stuff. No, I mean like you know when you move a finger or something in a glove, it senses that and then it will move the
Yeah,
finger in the game. That would make a lot more sense than oh I've got controllers in my hands that don't really work as well, and the grip
that
button is the trigger.
that would put that would likely put a bit more strain maybe on the
Yeah, a lot
system.
more strain, a
It
lot more
depends
strain.
on the level of fidelity. If we're just talking about a closed fist versus open fist, which is no different than a trigger that's pulled and a trigger that's not pulled,
Yeah,
then I don't see that. But if we're talking the granular range of you closing your fist and it being replicated on screen,
I
that
think it would be finger based. So depending on what finger you put down or something, I think they'd have a open hand, slightly
finger
open hand,
based.
and then completely closed fist. I think that's what they'd have because you see, I'm really good at coming up with these ideas. Um, it's a lot better than just holding a motion controller either way.
Yeah, yeah.
Any of that is just it's terrible. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. I mean, it's a step in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
But then the thing
It's
is,
good.
anyway, in the future, we'd probably have more powerful computers anyway, so we'd be able to move each finger or whatever.
Yeah, but then you go back to whether or not the market's going to be there to support it. You know,
Yeah, that's a point as
it's
well.
always a balancing act between because they can make photorealistic games looking now,
Yeah. But is
but
it?
it
But will
requires a
the
high-end computer, and
yeah?
you can only sell it to two people that bought NASA computers.
Yeah,
Um,
and will the and when and the thing is with like really good looking games, half the time they've fully gone into the game looking good and not really to do with the content of the game. So the content of the game isn't actually even fun, but they've
no,
put a lot of
because
time into how it looks.
the more you limit the scope of a game, the easier it is to make it look better. And I'm not trying to knock any good looking game because
Yeah.
we have large games like Horizon Zero Dawn that is an open world and it looks absolutely amazing.
I remember
But
when I first saw Battlefield 1 and I was like, wow, this looks amazing. Play the game and then I'm like, okay, I just fell through the world. What's happening?
what? Well, yeah,
That's the
that
level. That's the level that
is
I'm working at. I'm like, oh, look at the scenery, and then fall through the world immediately. I think that happened on one of my first times playing Battlefield One as well, and it's so sad because it's like I knew that it was just one of those things that's kind of like, okay, this probably happens rarely ever, but it happened to me this one time where it's the first time that I'm playing. Yeah, it happens in a lot of games. uh,
oh, trust me, I know.
yeah.
At
Should
least it's
we?
not as bad as Battlefield 4.
Yeah, should we?
That game's a buggy mess.
Oh yeah, Battlefield 4. That's the
I was
point.
just about to ask about that because so we were talking about consoles from the future, and I didn't know if we wanted to go to the next topic or if we wanted to end up there because we're already almost a minute and 15 in.
Okay, that's
Uh,
yeah. No, that would be fine. I think we'll end it here because the thing is, the last topic is Crackdown, and we don't know that much. Well, I personally don't know that much, um, which is kind of difficult to talk about. We were kind of like half this time we were just kind of coming up with different things that would be easier to talk about. Like you know, because it's been a very slow week, as we said at the beginning, and I all of you that are listening and have listened this far, congratulations. T type in something in the comments, like type one in the comments if you've listened this far. That'll help.
Let us know what you'd want from the Xbox Two and the PS5 in the
Yeah,
comments
that'll be
below.
good.
How about
That'll be
that?
good. Yeah. Give a one at the beginning of that as well, though. We need this one so we know that you're not cheating. You didn't just actually that doesn't help. They could have just skipped to the end and then waited for this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a point. So
So
what we're
yeah, I
trying to
think,
say is that we hate you. I mean, no. But anyway, yeah,
so
it's
yeah, I think
it's
it's
good.
fine if we really don't cover Crackdown, because I mean, really, the gist of it is people don't think it looks impressive, and it's never been a game about graphics. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the topic is there, but that's just me.
yeah. But yeah, that's is that the end? Are we
Yeah,
gonna?
yeah, I think we're
All
all.
right.
I think.
So yeah, guys.
Well,
If you enjoyed,
thank.
leave a like. Also subscribe to each of our channels. I'll leave a link to his in the description, and he'll leave a link to mine in his description. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, adios, guys. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the next Pixel. God damn it. Ugh.